An extradition treaty with the United Arab Emirates will kick in on the 10th of July. But Justice Minister Ronald Lamola warns it may take some time before we see a Gupta in the dock. The South African government is confident it will receive full cooperation from the UAE. Well, let's get some reaction this hour from former British MP Peter Hain. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the Midday View on eNCA. What's your reaction to the news now that the extradition treaty will come into force from the 10th of July and the government of South Africa will be able now to track and find the Guptas and hopefully extradite them back to South Africa?
Well, it's good news because, of course, they spirited billions of rands through Dubai, through banks like Standard Chartered Bank, which is headquartered in Johannesburg, but also in Dubai, and HSBC and Bank of Baroda. And from there, they took the money elsewhere. Of course, the money also went through Hong Kong. But they have a property, a large property with a crest on it, bearing the Gupta crest on its front gate. And that property should be seized because it was bought with the proceeds of the looted money and other money recovered. Now, of course, it's a long time. It's over 3 years since they fled South Africa, and even longer since a lot of that money was laundered abroad in a corrupt fashion and stolen from South African taxpayers. So this won't be easy to recover, but the extradition will certainly help achieve that, and I'm very encouraged that this is happening.
Yeah, apologies, we have a little bit of a delay in the connection, but I saw a comment the other day about the processes of extradition, that they do take long, and some people not sure or confident that UAE will comply with this extradition treaty.
Well, the UAE, and particularly Dubai, has set itself up with other UAE, parts of the UAE, Ras Al Khaimah being another one, as effectively tax havens and conduits for illicit money to be laundered. So they've not encouraged extradition, and they've not encouraged other countries to get their money back. In fact, in some ways, they've obstructed it. So it is good news that this extradition treaty will come into force next month, but the proceeds of getting the Guptas back the process is going to take a long time. I don't see it happening in weeks or months, though it would be fantastic if it was, because obviously they will fight it and they will employ lawyers, no doubt paid with the money they looted. So I can't see this happening very quickly, sadly.
While it's good news, we need to prepare that is going to take much long. Can South Africa do anything else to expedite their extradition?
Well, I think that it's important that from the President downwards, I've seen the Justice Minister Ronald Lamola interviewed on your program earlier today. I think it's important they engage directly with the ruler of Dubai, because I think it's important that he understands and the Dubai administration understands, as well as the UAE government and the head of state of the UAE, understand how important this is for South Africa. So I don't think it can simply be left to the lawyers. I think there needs to be political engagement as well, and that could speed things up.
And the news of the extradition treaty is welcome, as you've said. And I'm just wondering about the time. The 10th of July is a little bit far from today. Couldn't the Guptas use this period to vanish from Dubai?
Well, they could, though they have property there, and that property could be seized. They could indeed, because they live in India, as well as Dubai, and they move around the world, although now there are both United States sanctions and British sanctions on them. So it's more difficult for them to travel around the world, and it's more difficult for them to move their money. And I could see a situation in which these sanctions result in their arrest as a result of these international sanctions. But I think it's also important to get cooperation from the Indian government. I mean, I've argued this for a while now, and I did so in front of Judge Zondo's Commission of Inquiry in November 2019 to say this matter's urgent, because every week that goes by, the Guptas are spending their money or hiding it from the international regulatory authorities. So urgency is really the name of the game, but at least this is a step forward.